Matt Smith here reporting for the Sports Talk Media Network. Our game coverage at Sports Talk is presented by the South Carolina Beef Council. And what if I told you that Clemson would run 101 plays, pile up 450 yards, hold the ball for 37 minutes, outgain Louisville, and fail to commit a turnover through 4 quarters? You would probably think Clemson would be victorious, but you would be wrong because Clemson was not in this ballgame in the second half as Louisville rolls past Clemson 33-21, and it was not as close as the score indicates. This was a dismal performance from Clemson despite the 101 plays run, despite the 450 yards, despite a big night from Phil Maffa, 171 yards rushing and 2 touchdowns. Clemson was out of whack, out of sorts, coming off a bye week. So much set up in Clemson's favor. This game was at home. This was prime time. Clemson was on a 7-game winning streak. They had averaged better than 41 points per game during that 7-game winning streak. They were well rested. They knew what Louisville was going to bring. They had 2 weeks to scout this Louisville team that had thrown some pretty good punches at teams like Miami and SMU. And yet Clemson came out, didn't look like themselves, and it was Louisville that was the aggressor from the outset. Clemson only got 3 yards on its first 6 plays, and truthfully, it didn't get much better from there. Louisville gashed Clemson's rush defense. 6 plays of better than 10 yards in the run game, including a 45-yarder that was an absolute backbreaker from Isaac Brown in the fourth quarter to put Clemson away. And despite a couple of onside kicks, and there was a review as to whether Clemson got one, but even had they gotten it, they really never threatened Louisville in the second half. And the fans had filed out of Clemson midway through the fourth quarter after Isaac Brown's big run. So Clemson has some questions to answer now. Wes Goodwin specifically, what are they going to do about this defense, which has shown some cracks throughout the season, but much of that was attributed to second-teamers coming in. But tonight, Louisville was doing it against everybody. And this is a Clemson team that certainly didn't look like a playoff team, but that is what the aspirations were. That was the goal. And now Clemson, if they are to reach the ACC championship, they're going to need help. SMU got another victory over Pitt. Miami beat Duke handily tonight. It was a close game through 3 quarters, but eventually Miami pulled away, and that means those 2 teams are still undefeated in conference play, and Clemson now has a black mark against it in conference play, and Clemson will need help. They'll need to win out in ACC play, and somebody will have to beat either Miami or SMU, and looking at their schedules, there aren't a lot of good candidates to do that, as neither plays a ranked team down the stretch. Now, Clemson has got Virginia Tech next week and then Pitt the week after. So in order even for Clemson to get to the South Carolina game, the rivalry game out of conference and get there at 7-1, Clemson has got a Virginia Tech team that's playing better after beating they're playing a little bit better, and Pitt's playing a little bit better recently. The loss today notwithstanding, but they certainly aren't pushovers, and Louisville was no pushover tonight. Clemson came in as a 10.5-point favorite, but honestly, Louisville was the aggressor in this ball game. They were throwing the first punches. They drew first blood with an early field goal, and they played with confidence. This crowd, I mentioned it filing out early, but this crowd was into it. They were hungry. They were loud. They were doing what they were supposed to do early in the game, and Louisville was able to overcome that, shrug it off. And every time Clemson looked like they might be able to mount a comeback, Louisville came up with a play offensively to push Clemson right back, their face right back in the dirt. And it was that kind of night. Again, I don't know what to say. It's a strange thing to be here and watch Clemson run 101 plays, put up 450 yards, watch Phil Maffa run for 171 yards, watch the Tigers hold the ball for 37 minutes, and you didn't feel like they were ever in this fight. So we'll unravel all of this how much blame Wes Goodwin and that defense has to take, how much Garrett Riley has to take for Cade Klubnik, something didn't click tonight in the pass game. Louisville kind of played some umbrella coverage and didn't allow Clemson to get the ball down the field to Antonio Williams or any of their playmakers. And it was Louisville's night, and now Clemson has a lot of work to do to reach its goals, and they're going to need help to get there. It's not just about Clemson at this point. Now they're going to have to do a little scoreboard watching as well. We'll certainly talk about it on Sports Talk. I'll be joining Phil Kornblut and Chris Bergen on Monday night to talk about this one, and we invite you to join Sports Talk. It airs statewide 6 to 8, Monday through Friday, and you're going to get a lot more detail on our website at sportstalksc.com. We invite you to hit that website. We're going to be at the press conferences, and we'll talk about it all Monday through Friday with you on Sports Talk.